All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Once and Future, issue number 1 from Boom Studios by Kieron Gillen, Dan Mora, and Tamra Bonvillain. What a great name. Before we go into this, I decided not to cover top 10 Beyond the Farthest Precinct anymore. The spin-off series is not really very fun, and normally I wouldn't care if it's not very fun or not. I should care, but when it comes to reviewing, I want to show people how bad it is, or maybe sometimes it gets good, but in this case, the original top 10 book was fantastic. I'm not feeling it to review it anymore. Anyway, so I did an unboxing yesterday, and this is the complete series that I have, and I wasn't sure if I, take a swing at it, make a video about it, but surprisingly, it's a very good comic. It has a good hook. I'm going to show you what it's all about. So without further ado, let's dive in. But before we do that, subscribe, like. I need to promote my channel a little bit more, right? Because I know a lot of people are here to watch my videos, which I'm very happy with, don't get me wrong. But it would be better for me personally, and maybe better for you, if you would subscribe. I'm doing daily videos. You wouldn't miss it if you hit the bell for notifications and all that stuff. Like I said, I need to promote my channel a little bit more. I'm not very good at it. So this is me trying to ask you if you want to do it or not. That's all fine now, of course, but it would greatly help me. Anyway, let's dive in. So we are here at Cornwall, Great Britain. And in this tent, there's some excavation, and this woman... with this guy has found something, and she says, "Can I see the find?" He probably called her up and says, "Hey, and it's an artifact." He says, "Do you have any ideas about it, doctor?" And she says, "I do." And then she's calling someone, but this guy doesn't really know who she is. I said, "Which university are you with?" And then these guys coming, "Who are you?" You just put it down. You just can't take it. He says, "Well, I think I can. What do you want?" "England back." And he shoots him. And so immediately the art looks really good. And yesterday I said something about modern artists. I immediately take that back, because Dan Mora is a very good artist. I really like his outlines, the way he draws. It's really fun. Anyway, so we are in Somerset. I believe I said that right. Or Somerset is a home for old people. And she realized, and this is the news, and she hears in the background that some kind of an artifact that was taken, a 6th century scarab. And then this helper guy, I don't know how these people are. Nurses, right? Male nurse. Yeah, okay. Says, "Hey, maybe you need to go to bed." He says, let me in the walk for 10 minutes, right? Because he wants to smoke. And then we go to the main guy who has a date, and he accidentally spilled wine on her. And good looking woman, by the way. And he is this typical awkward geek. That's how I see it, this very insecure guy somehow. And she also established that she says, "When my friends in the history department told me about you, I wondered why you were single. Rugby playing academic Duncan McGuire." If you are a rugby player, I could be wrong. Are you that insecure? Maybe you're good at rugby playing, but not at the social thing, right? But then he gets a call, and "I'm sorry, I have to take this." She says, "Really?" And so she says, "Is this something's coming up thing? I just have to go." Climbing out of the window when it's going this badly is traditional. No need to fib. Well, he says, "No, it's my grandma, right? She just wandered off." And she's, okay, immediately changed her tone. She empathized. And talking about, I don't know, when she came from Ireland when she was 15 and all that stuff. And then he picks up the phone. And grandma says, "Duncan, are you busy?" He said, "It doesn't matter if I'm busy. You run away from home?" He says, "Yes. Can you come? I got a little problem." And so he says to this date, "Listen, I need to go," right? and he wants to pay for the dry cleaning as well. She says, don't worry about it, right? It's a bad date, but it's a brief date. Go get your grand, you goof. So it's not all that bad. I hope we see her again, right? Anyway, so he goes into the forest. Colors looks nice too, by the way. And she is, I don't know, trying to open some kind of a metal plate door. But instead of asking her, you know, what are you doing here and why you're trying to open a door, he just grabs the crowbar from her hands and tried to open it up without any questions, which is weird, right? So she says, hey, what are you doing here? Or what are we doing here? She says, I realized I need some old things. He's just stunned here. Let me do something about the light real quick. I have always a light issue when, or the sun is going from the right side too much, or it's just too dark. I'm not sure. Anyway, and he says, what is this thing? He says, we don't need it. He said, what is it for? Well, I used to hunt vampires. I said, wait, what? Yeah, I used to. Then I ran out of vampires. He doesn't know what to make of it. But it's not all perfect. Don't get me wrong. I like this book a lot. It has a nice hook. There's a lot of it's fast paced. It looks good. Nice colors, and it throws you immediately into the action. I'll show you that in a couple of seconds. But it's not all that good. I mean, this particular part is one of those things. It's nitpicking, but there is a scene after this later on that I think, okay, I don't know what to make of it. Anyway. So he says, Gran, you always rolled your eyes at anything like that. You laughed at it. What are you saying? She says it's complicated, especially you didn't know. And then there's some lights changes. He says, can you hear anything? Sounds like muffled barking. Wait, the lighting, it's changed. And then she says, Duncan, listen to me. Do you know what the question beast is? Of course he doesn't know. And then, anyway, you don't know what the question beast is? Question mark? Well, you do now. What the hell is going on in his belly? So this, I said it is a chimera. It's not a chimera. But it is a mismatch of a lot of things. So he turns around. He said, a little advice in this line of work. Run, if in doubt. She says, keep him busy. And he's running for his life. And like I said, the action looks great, and she's looking for stuff. And she says, Duncan, lead it back here. Right? But then there's some kind of a standoff because he needs to go through him or past him. And then he's reaching for this tree trunk. Now, this is, I'm calling shenanigans. So he picks up the tree trunk and does this. Now, this is not really bad, but even though he's a linebacker or, a tree trunk is extremely heavy. It's not that you can pick up in, I don't know, while you are running, right? But somehow this guy does it. Of course, this creature breaks it, but then he's just running away. And the creature goes after him, right? He says, grabbing this spear, he's total in I'd say this is probably adrenaline speaking, right? So he's yelling, ah! And then this creature stops, looking at the spear. And he's expecting it to attack him, but it's just stand there and just runs away. But then, no, don't let it go. Don't chase it. It's a sad little story. The poor thing. What do you know about this creature? Anyway, he's still, what? You start chasing it, you just get all obsessed, and you'll be no good to anyone. Probably speaking of experience, right? Maybe because of a vampire experiences past. Do not know. Anyway, so folks can kill it until later. It's one of those beast of destiny sort of things. Okay, a lot of mystery in here. I like that. And he says, all this supernatural stuff, you always said it was nonsense, but it's real. But she's dismissing his anxiety, his questions. But he says, what matters is what this particular bit of nonsense means. And it means awful things are loose, and someone has to push up their sleeves and get stuck in. Meaning he has to do it, right? She says, basically, she talks about the scabbard thing, the sword thing that's been stolen. And the people that have them, they have to stop it, right? Or we have to stop them. He said, are you serious? You can go around chasing monsters. You need to go back to home, and I promise I'll look into this. I swear I will. Yeah, I'm sure you will. You're a good boy. You've never been afraid of doing what needs to be done. But then she's pulling a gun, right? But you won't be safe alone, so you just drive me to Glastonbury right now. Grant, you raised me. You're not going to shoot. And then she shoots him. Now, this is the part that I'm having trouble with, right? So she shoots him, and then he just picks up her stuff and doing exactly what she told him to do. My problem is if somebody shoots you, right, and hits you, doesn't matter which part of your body or getting shot off, in this case an ear, I'm not sure you would be very calm like this. You would be shouting and screaming and your emotions were all over the place, right? And this particular person is also, raised him, and then she just shot him without a second. All right. She says, I'm sorry, dear. It's barely a scratch. Now, please stop sulking. Get in the car. We have to do Glastonbury. What is so important about this scabbard? Right? We have some Photoshop stuff in here. It's okay. I'm not going to nitpick here. What I mostly do when it comes to Photoshop. It's magic. They usually are. And then she talks about, the thing that heals people, belong to an old warlord. Heals all wounds, stick big holes in you, and they just close right up. Didn't do any good. His sister stole it, threw it in the lake, and then he got stabbed by his son. So Duncan is all, amazed by all this. Although his ear is still bleeding, he doesn't raise his voice, that he's just being shot by his own, well, not mother, but grandmother that raised him. And they talk about the sword, and of course it's Excalibur, right? Because this is England, and once in future, king, swords, you get it. It's not that difficult. Anyway, but he says, Excalibur? Like King Arthur's sword Excalibur? She says, no. It's not Arthur's sword. It's one of the ladies of the lake's swords. One of the ladies? There's more? They loan it to Arthur. But if someone has Arthur's scabbard, I think they're trying to bring him back. There's enough prophecies after all. Some fool always want to take a shot at the prophecy. It's the kick me sign of the occult world. But Arthur, isn't he a good guy? He says, you are an adorable boy. You just shot him! Crazy old woman. Anyway, Arthur united the Britons, beat back the invading foreigners. Well, not today in this timeline. And then the bit people always forget about. He went to war with the European Empire and crushed it. He said to return in Brighton's darkest hour. And she talks about the prophecy. And what do they mean by that? She says, or he says, I'm not sure. Well, he could return because it's Britain's darkest hour, sure, or his return could cause it. All right. This is to the next issue. Well, not this issue, but the next one. So, what do I think about it? I think it's good. Really good. I didn't know Boom Studios has this gem. I only heard bits and pieces about that. But I could now, got the whole collection. And like I said, the first book, if that hooks you in right away, it could go only up or it will crash out and burn in later issues. I'm not sure, but so far I'm on board. So yeah, this is great. Hope you have a great time, guys. I see you next time on the next video. Bye-bye.